In the middle of all this snow, the city of Stanton is dealing with a different problem, a sinkhole that closed a road.
A special counsel has been named to investigate whether laws were broken during the process that left Flint, Michigan with lead-tainted water. The details ahead.
And a Central Kentucky road is back open after a water main break.
This is WKYT News at 4:30.
Good afternoon. Sam Dick and Amber Philpott reporting. The melting continues. The road conditions out there have improved in many areas, but in Powell County, the snow caused a totally different problem.
There's a big hole along Church Street in Stanton. Part of the road collapsed over the weekend as the winter storm moved through. WKYT's Victor Puente is in Powell County with more on the efforts to get that road fixed. It's our top story at 4:30.
The mayor of Stanton says the city didn't have many issues despite how much snow they got over the weekend. He says their biggest one was caused by all the rain in December and the freezing temperatures. Mayor Dell Allen says this hole opened Saturday night when the ground beneath part of Church Street gave way. Workers tell me the collapse happened as a man was driving a backhoe onto a neighboring farm. They say the rear of the backhoe started to go into that hole, but he used the rear arm of the machine to push himself out and was able to drive away. Before they could begin repairs, they had to excavate all that dirt. Then they had to replace a sewage line. They've since filled the hole with gravel. A worker out here tells me that they'll put permanent pavement down once it warms up.
I'm sure it's been happening for a little while, you know, it just doesn't, that stuff starts happening and then all of a sudden it shows up. It's just one of those things of nature.
County officials say one of the reasons they had so few issues is because they were able to notify people that the storm was coming. And they also say a lot of people stayed off the roads, and that helped. In Powell County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Church Street reopened this afternoon. We are certainly getting a much-needed break in the weather department. The temperatures this week will improve and help with melting some of that snow that's still out there.
Nice to see the sun out there. Let's check in now with our chief meteorologist, Chris Bailey. Have you recovered from Friday?
You know what? I slowly but surely I'm trying to come out of the lack of sleep department from the past couple of weeks, guys. But you know what? Today, certainly helping a lot of folks out who are still snowed in after that 1 to 2 foot snowstorm from Friday into Saturday. You get temperatures in the 40s, you're going to get some melting. That is indeed what we are seeing out there right now across most of central and eastern Kentucky. Defender radar network, clouds are beginning to filter in. We have a southerly wind that is eating some of that snow up. Cold front is to our west. Not a strong front by any means, but it is strong enough to pull up some milder air. Look on the back side of that, though. It's snowing with cold air that is surging back toward the east, and that will get in here as we go through the day tomorrow. So temperatures tomorrow will actually go in reverse. You'll wake up to readings that'll be milder than what you come back home from work and maybe some of us from school, for those of you in school. Overall, though, the focus of the forecast is on the extreme winter pattern that we've been in for the past week and change is taking a bit of a break. We'll show you how long that break lasts and what it means for the forecast, guys, coming up in just a few.
Thank you, Chris. More celebrities are coming forward to help the people of Flint, Michigan.
The town has been without safe drinking water since high levels of lead were found last year. As Jamie Yukas reports, the crisis is also the subject of a new state investigation.
You know, the tragedy of Flint is a tragedy of immense proportion.
Michigan's Attorney General announced a new state investigation into the drinking water crisis in Flint. The city of 100,000 has been without safe water since high levels of lead were found last year.
I would certainly not bathe a newborn child or a young infant in this bad water. And if you can't drink the bad water, you shouldn't pay for it.
The city switched its water source from Detroit's system to the Flint River in 2014 to save money. But the river water wasn't properly treated to prevent lead from pipes from leaching into the drinking water. A former prosecutor and the former head of Detroit's FBI office will spearhead the investigation.
We're going to get through to the bottom of what happened in this situation.
While investigators figure out who's to blame, the people of Flint are getting some high-profile help. Aqua Hydrate, a bottled water company partially owned by Sean Diddy Combs and actor Mark Wahlberg, says it will donate 1 million bottles of water to Flint residents. Other celebrities, including Michigan native Eminem, have also pledged support. Jamie Yukas, CBS News.
And Jimmy Fallon is joining a list of celebrities helping Flint, Michigan residents deal with their toxic water crisis. The Tonight Show host announced on Twitter he is donating $10,000 to the Community Foundation of Greater Flint, and he challenged 10 of his friends to match his gift. A road is back open after a water main break shut down traffic. Water crews in Paris spent hours overnight and this morning repairing a broken water line. It's not clear what caused the water main to break, but it was discovered about 8 last night. Police had to shut down High Street in downtown Paris while the repairs were made. Just minutes ago, dispatchers told us that everything has since fixed and that road is back open. Southern Kentucky is dealing with the ripple effect of synthetic drugs. Synthetic drugs are not organic and are known to cause hallucinations. Williamsburg's police chief says the effect of synthetic drugs like bath salts are not only dangerous for the user, but everyone around them. Last summer, the city had 13 people overdose on bath salts in just 2 weeks. The jailer says many times symptoms don't show up until after the user is arrested.
Oh, terrifying. They mumble ungodly things. I mean, it's just, it's almost like an animal-like effect. They have no control of their body movements. It's probably the worst thing that I've seen.
Sam's at the live desk now with our investigative reporter Miranda Combs with more on what she's working on at 6.
Amber, thank you. So when we talk about synthetic drugs, we're talking about a host of different names as well.
Right, Sam, and in this story in particular, we're talking about bath salts, but a lot of times they're used to cut other drugs. So someone may think they're buying one thing and then it's cut with something like bath salts or Flocka, and they don't realize it at the time, and it gives them this adverse effect.
So last summer, the community of Williamsburg was hit pretty hard by bath salts?
And that's exactly what happened in that case. They thought they were getting methamphetamine, but it was cut with these bath salts. In a 2-week span, they had 13 overdose cases. But interestingly, no arrests because everyone had to be taken to the hospital. Some ended up on life support. That's how serious this stuff is.
So when you talk about these people going to the hospital in serious situations, an emergency situation, this falls back on the taxpayers, doesn't it?
And this is what was interesting about this story that we kind of didn't expect until we started to actually interview the jailer. What happens a lot of times is these people come in and they aren't showing any symptoms. It's like 7 to 10 days later and they'll start showing these signs, and so then yes, it comes back on the taxpayer because that person has to be transported to the hospital and that they are then in the care of the local county government.
And these are people that were in jail that we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, so much more to come on this important issue for a lot of people on WKYT at 6 o'clock. Amber?
We will find out this week whether Lexington Mayor Jim Gray is ready to run for the U.S. Senate. Tomorrow is the filing deadline, and Gray says everyone will know by then. Mayor Gray, who was reelected as mayor in November of 2014, makes it clear he is making the decision based on a lot of careful consideration.
And I've been encouraged by a lot of folks that this is a race that should be made. So it's always encouraging to hear that. I've said many times that I enjoy my job and my role as mayor.
If he does decide to run and get the Democratic nomination, Mayor Gray would challenge Republican presidential candidate and U.S. Senator Rand Paul. The field is set for 4 special state house elections that could drastically change the political landscape here in Kentucky. If Republicans win all 4 seats, the House will be split 50-50. That would be a first in the state's history. The only race in central Kentucky is for the 62nd district. Republican Philip Pratt and Democrat Chuck Tackett, both of Georgetown, are running to replace Ryan Quarles, who was elected state agriculture commissioner in November. Governor Matt Bevin scheduled the special elections for March 8th.
Today is game day for the number 12 ranked Kentucky women's basketball team, and Coach Matthew Mitchell and his team are preparing to take on those Tennessee Volunteers.
Deanne Stevens is out and about today, joining us from Memorial Coliseum with more. Hey, Deanne.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. I'm just helping out Coach Mitchell here a little bit, preparing for the big game tonight. We're all blue.
Looks like you're tracing over things that I've already written on the board.
I'm like, is this the court, Coach? Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's the court.
This is where a lot of work happens too. Coach Matthew Mitchell's office. A big game tonight. You used to wear that ugly color orange, didn't you?
It's a long.
Do we even am I allowed to ask you that?
No, we don't even want to think about that. That's the worst looking orange there's ever been.
Isn't it?
And I have destroyed all evidence of that.
The rivalry between Kentucky and Tennessee is huge in every sport, isn't it?
It is, and it's a great, border battle between the two states. And Tennessee's had such great success in women's basketball. In all honesty, I wouldn't be here today without Pat Summitt and the opportunity she gave me. And tonight we are trying to raise some funds for Alzheimer's research and what Coach Summitt's gone through. So the whole league is doing a We Back Pat week, and so we'll have that out tonight. So we'd love for people to donate to the Alzheimer's research.
Talk a bit about that and how you, as a coach, I love how you always take advantage of opportunities to help out others, whether they're an opposing coach or not.
Well, like I said, I was a high school coach with really no connections to college basketball, and Pat Summitt gave me not only an opportunity, but then the education she provided me of being able to be with her every day and watch her coach, and it was an unbelievable impact on me. And then literally millions of people have read her books, have watched her teams play. She has had such an amazing impact. So now we can help her and we can back her up, and she's really trying to raise funds for Alzheimer's awareness. So we're excited to be a part of that tonight.
Okay, and all your fans can come cheer you guys on tonight.
Big game. We want everybody here at Memorial Coliseum, just a couple hours away. Come on down. Plenty of parking, plenty of seats, and let's fill this place up tonight and have some fun.
He's removed all the snow for you, so there's nothing to be scared of. Come on down here to the University of Kentucky campus. 7 o'clock is game time. Go Cats.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Back to you guys.
Thanks, guys. The ending to Downton Abbey is just a day away, and a new tour that's Star Trek fans' music to their ears, rather.
There you go. Suzanne Marquez has your eye on entertainment.
Star Trek is entering a new entertainment frontier, the concert hall. It's part of the 50th anniversary celebration of the sci-fi franchise. Called Star Trek: The Ultimate Voyage, the performance features live music from the original television series, its later sequels, and the successful films, while TV and movie scenes play on a large screen.
You will be able to see things as well as hear things. You'll become aware of how important music is to movies.
The North American tour kicked off last week and will play more than 100 cities before wrapping up in April. If you're more of a Star Wars fan, you can now get your hands on a piece of the original trilogy. Luke Skywalker's blaster is going up for auction. The prop laser gun is the same one that Mark Hamill used in The Empire Strikes Back and goes on the block Thursday. The minimum bid is $200,000. And there's good news for Downton Abbey fans who don't want to wait until March 6th to see the final episode in the series. The complete 6th and final season of the PBS show is being released on DVD tomorrow. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Suzanne Marquez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Chris Rock was already working on his Oscars hosting gig when the all-white nominations caused an uproar and talk of boycotts. Rock will not boycott, but he won't ignore the issue. His producer says Rock is throwing out what he had and writing a new opening monologue. We'll see what he comes up with when the curtain rises on the 88th Academy Awards, February 28th.
The 2015 Miss Universe returned home to the Philippines and said she might have her eyes set on her next big dream. Pia Alonso Wurzbach returned home to the Philippines for the first time since her crowning. And that awkward moment when host Steve Harvey mistakenly crowned Miss Colombia instead of her. She says she's using the intense attention she's got after that controversy to focus on her causes like fighting HIV and AIDS. And asked about her plans after her reign, Wurzbach replied, "I might be the next Bond girl. Who knows? That's the next big dream." There's something about seeing that sun out that kind of gives you a lift, like not all is lost after that really tough day on Friday.
And sort of hearing that drip, drip around the house, too, on the outside, meaning that snow is finally melting in some places, Chris.
Yeah, important to note on the outside on that one, but we are melting some snow out there. It's going to be a slow process this week as temperatures the next few days will actually come down a little bit, but right now we are into the 40s across most of central and eastern Kentucky. Bare ground in Florence. We were warmer than everybody else. Mountain Parkway, snowpacked. Still a lot of snow on the ground into parts of central and eastern Kentucky. Defender radar network, not a whole lot out there. A little bit of light rain going to pop across western Kentucky. That'll scoot in here as we go into late tonight and early tomorrow. Overall, though, it's not a big system that is on the move throughout the region, but it will knock temperatures back down into the seasonal 30s over the next few days. Let's get a check on traffic, see how things are looking out there on the highways and the byways with Officer Don.
Overall view, we can see normal slowdowns to deal with outbound Nicholasville Road, Harrodsburg Road approaching the crossover. A couple of problems out there. One is inbound Richmond Road. We do have one lane open now at North Eagle Creek. The left lane is open, but still recovering from that collision. There's also a crash on the north side at the Newtown and Newtown Court. Drive times to Georgetown on 75, looking good. No major issues right now. If you plan to head to Mount Sterling or later or traveling from Lexington toward Richmond, looks like across the Clays Ferry Bridge, we're trouble-free. Now back here in the studio.
Officer Don, thank you. A bubbly day to celebrate, a white wedding, and a sheep chase. It's the video that will have you talking. Take a look at this.
Okay, there's no way that you can stay angry after popping a roll of bubble wrap, right? It's Bubble Wrap Appreciation Day. I bet you didn't know that. And did you know that bubble wrap was originally designed to be plastic wallpaper? The product was, of course, not a success, and that's probably best because people would totally be popping your walls.
It was a white wedding, but not the one that bride Allison Hames had envisioned. She planned to be married Saturday night in New York, but they got snowed out by that massive blizzard that hit the city. So their Saturday night nuptials gave way to a Sunday morning marriage. Hames said there was kind of this nauseous moment after she got word Saturday that the restaurant hosting her wedding had to close. She and Walter Cook still got to tie the knot, though, Sunday morning, but that means that their wedding rings aren't engraved with the right date. But still a good story, though.
Yeah, tough day for that bride and groom. Okay, sheep saved the day during a high-speed chase in New Zealand. Police say the chase began when a car carrying 4 people failed to stop. The chase went on for an hour and a half until the car came across a huge mob of sheep in the road. Is that what a group of sheep are called?
I don't know, but it's a lot of sheep.
But I read it. The driver did not try to run through the sheep, thank goodness. In all, 4 people were arrested, including a 14-year-old boy and girl. They were charged in the chase and with theft for getting gas and not paying for it. In the end, all the sheep are okay, and they stopped the suspects.
That is a lot of sheep in that video for sure.
It's a mob.
Good for them. All right, stick with us. Here's what we're working on for you now at 5 o'clock.